Hello, my name is Paul Woodfall. I'm a teacher trainer for Oxford University Press. In this session, we're looking at vocabulary for primary using the classroom presentation tool. And the classroom presentation tool you will find on the Oxford Learners bookshelf. I'll just take you there now. I'm going to sign in to my desktop application here. And once I've signed in, we will look at the presentation, practice, and production of vocabulary while online and offline, indeed. So I'm going to choose a book. It could be any particular course book you're using. This is just an example. Oxford Discover, Level 2. And the lesson we're looking at here is how are animals different from one another. After having done the activation of schemata, we would then look at the vocabulary section, which is on the next page. And as you can see at the top, I have bookmarked this page. I have the function at the top left-hand corner to bookmark a page. I turn that on, I can then bookmark my page. And if I go to the tile view, I can then check my bookmarks. And you can see I can go immediately to the vocabulary in question that we're looking at in this unit. So, without further ado, let's have a look at an example of vocabulary and how we can present it. First, I will go to the focus function at the top left and click on that, and you can see clearly the presentation of vocabulary. I would be recording my session with my students because this is very important. Some students may not be able to attend. If I record the session, I can then send this session to those students via email or social media, whatever platform I'm using and is appropriate for the children. To practice, I would play the audio and the students would listen and point. They would also listen and say the words. Here's an example. I click on the audio.
Page 8, Unit 1. Get ready. Words. A.
And
listen and point to the words.
I remember to move the toolbar to the top away from the pictures, and as we're practicing, I can use the cursor and to help them
Listen again and say the words.
Skin, mammals, eggs, amphibians, scales, gills, feathers.
That's rather fast. If I want to slow it down, I can press the slow option here.
Wings,
Wings,
fur,
fur.
skin,
Back to the top.
mammals,
Repeat.
eggs, amphibians,
And I can go back to normal.
scales.
So that's a way of presenting and getting students to say the words. I could then ask students to go onto their WhatsApp after the session and record those words as well. I can do more follow-up practice. When doing follow-up practice, I have the option of the answer keys. I click on the top left-hand corner and I can see all answers, or I can delete that with the delete function, and I can click on answers individually as they are being elicited from my group. To clear, remember, we go to the bin at the top and we clear the answer key. So that's the presentation, and of course, don't forget, we can do some more work on the workbook. We can go back to the focus and click on the exercise. Ask students to do this in their own time, explain the exercise, explain what they have to do. For example, here are 4 pictures. It's a picture of a fish in number 1. Does a fish have feathers? No. A fish has scales and gills. So with the workbook, we have the option of asking children to complete the work in their own time before coming back live to the next lesson. When we do come back to the next lesson, we can, of course, go back to the focus key and check the answers with the students. Yes, that's a feather. Yes, that's a wing, etc. So, as you can see, the switch books allows us to go from workbook to the student book. And remember, this vocabulary is there to inform the reading texts. And here we have a text that highlights those vocabulary items and has pictures and further details. So it's very necessary that the children not only know the way the word looks, but the way the word sounds, and they can say and read and understand the words in context. The classroom presentation tool is very, very useful for our purposes when we're learning at home. I remind you, it's on the Oxford Learners bookshelf. And we must consider that we have both options: synchronous recording, live event. My advice is to keep these live sessions shorter than a normal 45-minute lesson. Make them 10 to 15 minutes with your students live. Give them work to do. Make a recording of your session so that you can immediately send it so students can refer to it in an asynchronous manner. And allow them time for production. Now, some of you may have online practice as well, in which case you can assign online practice exercises. If you haven't, then the workbook is there, the physical workbook. They can do workbook exercises, and we can check them, as I've said earlier on, in the follow-up lesson with the answer keys. We can also ask children to create their own vocabulary notebooks or picture dictionaries. They could design posters around the vocabulary and the reading. When they've done some work, we can ask them to upload with their photos of their work for our assessment. And one of the ways, I mentioned WhatsApp already, WhatsApp is a wonderful tool for using very simple messaging with children. They can take photos of their work and they can record themselves saying the vocabulary and talking together in their group chat. Other opportunities for recycling would be Kahoot or Quizlet. So these are just some ideas. You will find many more at the Learn at Home page, which is at the following site, www.oup.com/ELT/Learn at Home. I hope these ideas have been useful, and please stay safe and well. Bye-bye.